Hey guys, Crypto G in for another unplanned session of facts and stats. Today we are going to revisit the flash loan mechanism for the BOOMerang project after this week's launch of a new iteration of the smart contract referred to as V2, which we have been told will promise even higher profit margins than the original smart contracts which we unpacked in the Busted series. Now, I was originally going to create an entertaining chess-themed storyline for today's content, presenting a classic British defence against a typical opening of pawn to d4, where black fianchettos the light squared bishop early in order to dismantle white's pawn centre, all in an effort to make the information both more engaging and consumable for those of you that are clearly more rigorous with your due diligence, validated by the fact that you are here watching this video. However, I didn't want any bullshit to get in the way of what is actually happening here. There is a shitload of money at stake, and we need to get our serious caps on if you are to understand what I see and say. Understanding requires us to look beyond simple confirmation bias and consider the questions you are unable to answer factually and honestly. So today I'm going to just talk real stats and facts in an attempt to reveal what is actually quite a straightforward arbitrage process that hides its simplicity through what appears on the surface to be a more complex chain of events. To do this, I am first going to walk through a flash loan arbitrage trade that was widely discussed on Twitter back in August 2020, breaking down the mechanism for profit so that we have a reference point to understand the new BOOMerang flash loan contract when we take the microscope to it later on in this video. After that, I will take you through Chavez's response to some of the Spanish community concerns about the BOOMerang contract profit mechanism. Clearly some of you have been paying attention. And I critically evaluate his central pawn structure with a Roy Lopez level of scrutiny. I just couldn't help myself, could I? Not only analysing the on-chain transaction data, but I also reflect on his demeanour, the plethora of overinflated claims, and how his hubris and clear lack of reality in terms of the potential growth he peddles as achievable is laughable, but has revealed another connection with... You will have to watch through to find out what that bombshell is. However, before I do that, I do need to do the usual housekeeping. I am not a financial advisor, and this video should be used for educational and entertainment purposes only. You must always seek professional advice before making any investments in the digital or the traditional space, as there is a risk of partial or total loss. Make sure that you do your own research. Make sure you try to custody your own assets at all times. And remember, the information in this video may well be out of date by the time you get to see it. Okay, so let's not beat around the bush anymore and dive in. Remember, it is timestamped, so you can easily skip to the last chapter if you are strapped for time. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and poke the algorithm with a like button, just in case you get distracted.
The first mover, how a DeFi trader made an 89% profit in minutes slinging stablecoins article was originally covered by CoinDesk, which is reported as the most trusted media, events, indices and data company for the global crypto economy.
This is a simple schematic for the DYDX flash loan transaction, showing the asset flow and points of actual arbitrage. Pretty self-explanatory, I think, and exactly what we expect to see in any arbitrage mechanism. Now, if we look at the transaction hash on Etherscan, we can see the actual asset flow initiated by user wallet OX89.
Here is a breakdown of the stablecoin journey. 1. Trader started with roughly $45,000 in USDC tokens and borrowed another $405,000 on DE for a total of $450,000 USDC. 2. Exploiting temporary differences between the stablecoin's face value of $1 and quoted prices, the trader was able to use Uniswap to exchange the $450,000 of USDC for $492,000 of USDT. 3. Trader swapped $492,000 of USDT for $492,000 of USDC on Curve. 4. Trader paid off the $405,000 loan from DE and had $87,000 USDC remaining. 5. The transactions cost about $2,000 in fees. 6. Trader netted $40,000 profit on $45,000 of initial capital.
Simple, right? The profit differential is clearly visible in the transfer price list as the trade progresses. Important note, though, look closely at how the asset transfers are correctly ordered on a profit chain. This might seem somewhat contradictory, as all the transfers ultimately happen in the same block. I simply mean that in this transaction, they make sense. Apart from the curve intersection, that is, but we can't know everything. So how does the boomerang arbitrage mechanism match up? Well, let's have a little look, shall we? This seems pretty clunky and disordered in comparison, so let's break it down. To simplify, transfers 1 and 6 we're going to scrub, as they are just the flash loan call and return. Transfers 2 through to 5 are the BOOMerang Flash Loan Authority contract interactions with the two dexes, where 2 Aave is swapped for wrapped ETH in a Uniswap v3 pool, and an identical amount of wrapped ETH is swapped for 1.988 Aave in the Algebra QuickSwap pool. Then transfers 7 and 8 cover the distribution route from the BFLA contract through the fund controller v2 back to the user. In this example, Chavez's wallet number 2. Now, I just want you to listen to the explanation he gives for this same transaction before we move on to highlighting a couple of significant points that you need to understand. Some of you may already have spotted them.
Yunus, let me show you a transaction.
Okay, go. Nos va a mostrar una transacción ya. This is with the new contract now?
Yes.
Nice, because it's very important to see this part, because there are many people that are asking for the last transaction, because they say where
I
it come
can't
from.
understand. See,
Transaction.
see here.
This is the new contract. Okay.
This, and then
The last one, actually, Chavez, no?
one was returned. No, this is the old one. Let me
No.
find out.
Todo.
En un solo contrato que muestra todo de asset.
Eso,
Okay,
eso, es que eso es muy importante. Muy bien.
See, now it is, it is done swap for Aave in Uniswap,
Wow.
and then it's interacted to this contract. And look, this profit is transferred to the contract, and contract transfers the profit to the user's wallet.
Beautiful. That's the thing we look at.
It's all evident.
Lo vieron, ¿verdad, muchacho? Can you put it over there, Chavez?
So not only did he not recognize the first transaction hash and incorrectly stated that it was the old contract when it wasn't, but he quickly skipped over the DEX interactions to highlight the profit was now coming from the Flash Loan Authority contract through the Fund Controller v2, claiming the significance that this is all achieved now through one smart contract. Well, there are two things I would like to highlight at this point. The first is that when you spend as much time as I do studying the on-chain data, you don't see the matrix anymore.
You get used to it. I don't even see the code. All I see is blonde, brunette, redhead.
It really does help when you have the official tags. Perhaps you should listen and learn, Mr. Chavez. But more importantly, the arbitrage needs to return a profit for there to be a profit to distribute. Whether it is running on 1, 2 or 10 smart contracts, you still need a trading profit. Otherwise, the fake profits need to come from somewhere else. And you know what that means. Now, in transfer 4, less Aave is actually returned to the FLA contract wallet, or V2, from Algebra QuickSwap pool than was sent in transfer 3 to the Uniswap pool. Transfers 2 and 5 are just identical amounts of wrapped ETH used to facilitate the swap through the two dexes. So in reality, this smart contract version 2 actually lost 0.01277 Aave, and yet it returns a so-called profit of 0.0251 Aave through the BOOMerang Fund Controller v2 wallet back to the user. There is no other way of framing it, I'm afraid. It seems that this guy will tell you anything to maintain a cash flow. Ridiculous claims of more things that should be there to get a Binance listing.
Not questioned, or you guys don't even know few more things that should be there in order to get the product listed on Binance, on different other platforms, and then get the audit done by some external famous big five, in terms of business. So we are making all these changes also.
Dice que
So,
ellos están, do you say they want Binance will be show Boomerang as a
of
tool
course,
into okay.
yes,
And a famous top 5 audit company that never materializes to validate the program before releasing another shitcoin ICO, and the ludicrous marketing tactic that a $10 billion TVL for Aave somehow suggests that there is $10 billion worth of loan capacity available. It's utter nonsense. I would suggest that they start by prioritizing some actual arbitrage profit as one of the things they focus on first. Furthermore, promising returns on an unregulated project or coin listing will qualify a crypto asset as a security if you live in the US and many other parts of the globe, which should make you consider more carefully your investment choices, especially as the federal regulatory system continues to flex its muscles across the crypto space. But if you still don't believe me, here's something else gooey to chew on. Following Corp's decision to upgrade the V2 Smart contract and archive the old V1 contracts, I decided it might be interesting to see what happened with the assets that were held in the now obsolete BOOMerang Fund Controller V1. So booting up DBank and entering the BOOMerang Fund Controller wallet address ending 78BB, we can see that my hunch was correct. The assets that were held in this contract were moved on the 23rd of January to a wallet ending CAA0, which I had previously tagged as Mr. Hyper 1 after stumbling across this wallet on my travels and noticing that it was the largest token holder and distributor of the hot token. Now, if you select transactions and scroll through the transfers, you will see that the assets were routed through this wallet to the main BOOMerang tester admin wallet ending 106A, one of which we looked at in the Busted Series 2, and then directly into the new BFLA V2 contract, leading us essentially to the same mechanism as the one I pointed out in the Busted 2 video. The V2 contract is directly funded by Shavez, likely through this Binance hot wallet ending 8FDG, which links to the USDT money flows from Major Brow, aka Shavez, that I discussed in the HyperCop video. So I thought I would revisit Hyper 1 and see what pops up on the YT. No doubt you can imagine what reaction I had when this happened.
Moving on to the HyperTech group, the genesis where Hyper 1 came from. Florin, can you mute everyone? All right. Thank you. Okay. So I will be telling you all about the inception of Hyper 1. So basically, HyperTech Group is the mother company of Hyper 1, and it is registered in Cayman Islands, where all the big cryptocurrency and blockchain companies are registered, just like Binance Smart Chain. So HyperTech Group is a tech company which is expertised in building tech projects from time to time, and which has delivered various big and small projects that has changed the world in terms of cryptocurrency and blockchain. So for community building, for the first time, HyperTech Group has launched its own platform, and it was called Hyper 1. So the reason why HyperTech Group started its own community building platform was all about creating those tech projects and implementation of those tech products so that community can be benefited in the larger scale.
I genuinely wasn't expecting to find a video of Shavez revealing the HyperTech Group as the mother company of Hyper 1, especially after claims that Sam Lee, aka the chairman, and HyperTech Group were only the tech providers. Where have we heard that before, guys and girls? So, in conclusion, some accuse us of not knowing about technology. Many claim that we don't know nothing about code. Few recognise that they only look for confirmation bias. Even less will admit that they are wrong before proceeding to try and convince others that they know far more about blockchain without showing any validation. The problem is that, as someone important once said, it is easier to fool the people than to convince them they have been fooled. I am, at a core level, a scientist, and as a result, one should expect when challenges are faced that there will be some arguments in response, essentially like a game of chess, where the opposing pieces establish some strength as their arguments or pieces develop until there is some consensus or we achieve checkmate. I only know what I know and don't know what I don't. But what I do know is that we have heard all the overhyped promises of Binance listings and gargantuan growth potential before. But where are those projects and end users now? I suggest you take a moment to congratulate yourself for being uniquely diligent, as most won't get this far. But here the reward is not financial. It is the knowledge and understanding to guide you and others to not being party to other people losing not just money, time, friends and relationships, often their life savings, or more fatally, more often than we realise, their lives. Over to you, Shavez. Your king is now exposed. Check, check. Crypto G out.